Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Jump Cast. I am your host today, Max, and I am joined by my other host.
Nick, hello, I'm here.
But sadly, Max, for the next 2 weeks, I believe, will be MIA. We'll have him back soon, but it'll
Yeah,
just
we
be us.
we just lost him.
Yeah,
He's
he just got lost in Chicago, and
yeah.
we don't know where he went.
Yeah, we bought him an airplane ticket here and then after that someone told us that like we owe money or like we won't get him until we pay someone. I think it's a scam, but
Yeah,
um
it could just be Max like messing around with us. So you never
yeah,
know.
yeah. But anyways, enough about him. Let's get
On
into
to
the
the
chapter.
important things.
Exactly.
Today,
Um
this is episode 85 of the Jumpcast. We were talking about right before, like how far into this we're getting. Like this is it's kind of crazy to think about.
I know.
Um,
It's already crazy breaking like 50 and then just sitting here and like what the
like we've been doing this for almost 3 years, I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
yeah. So, we're back to covering Kagurabachi. I don't know if people saw our community post, but last week we did not cover it because it was a little like kind of
It was a bonus chapter. It doesn't look
yeah,
like
didn't have a lot
the
of
creator had an they need more time, so they
yeah,
created. That happens all the time. That happened with Jujutsu Kaisen.
which I think
Um,
is good that the mangakas are taking breaks. They deserve it.
yeah. Uh, I think this one was definitely a lot more like I need time. If anyone like looks at Shonen Jump this week, you'll see that we're greeted by a wonderful uh two-page spread and also a cover page.
Which they look sick in the cover page, or not the kind of like you said the cover art. So
Yeah, like it looks really good, which I feel like a lot of that was just putting that to paper.
mm,
And also like this is a big chapter itself in terms of the plot. There's also another two-page spread that looks sick, which definitely looks like it took a lot of time, but
yeah, the amount of
um
detail in it is kind of crazy, like the shading and everything.
yeah.
So, but yeah. So today we're covering chapter 58. Nick, do you want to give us a little quick little recap?
Yes, sir. It is chapter 59 actually.
59. My
Uh
bad.
no, no, it's all good. Chapter name Blackout. The chapter begins where we left off, with Chihiro being teleported to see Mr. Samura kill Mr. Uru Uruha. I forgot the name, but he's dead now, so it doesn't matter too much. Um, anyways, he comes there and he's like, "What? No, dude, what?" The he sees that Hakari is okay. And he's just like, "What? Why are you doing this?" And him and Samura have like a this whole argument, like, "What? Why would you do this?" The Hishoku killed my father. What are you doing? And Mr. Samura is just like, let me do the rest. Let me do the rest. And Chihiro kind of freaks out. It's just like, what do you think? I'm not going to let that happen. Gets bodied, one quick slice, and he's done. Um, and right before Mr. Samura grabs, I forgot, Enten. I forgot the name of his
Yeah,
sword for a moment.
N10.
Yeah, so he's about to grab it and is like, oh, it ain't there anymore, because I forgot his name as well. Why can I not remember
Shiba.
names right now?
Mr.
Sorry, one
Shiba.
more time.
They can't call
Shiba?
him as like Shiba. Like they call him just Mr. Shiba. I think
Yeah,
Chihiro
Mr.
calls him that.
Shiba. Yeah, and he's there to save Chihiro, uh and he asks Samura why. Um and they says this will continue forever as long as we continue as heroes. So he has to change it up. He says this is the end. We get a little blackout spot. It says that Uraha died, and so did Chihiro. But of course, later on we'll know that that's not entirely true. We then see the paper boy getting his arm back. Uh, and he's in the headquarters with the Hishaku. I forgot the name of the main villain, the guy with the little dots on the top and bottom of his eyes.
We will learn them eventually. We will learn all the
Oh, did we
names.
not get his name?
No, I meant like us as like the host. We will learn their
Oh
names
yeah,
eventually.
yeah. Um, Basically they talk about this whole situation. It's a lot of dialogue that I don't want to necessarily get into, but then Mr. Samura shows up. It's cool that it says owl. We get a beautiful two-page spread of the city with gigantic owl eyes. Um, and the leader of the Hishaku is saying like, we can't be as reckless right now. Our freedom is curbed. And so then they, the Hishaku made a deal with Mr. Samura right after Chihiro's father died, from what I'm remembering from this conversation. And so then right afterwards, they made a deal with him, just like, hey, we'll get you the katana back. We'll make this all work out. Um, and in trade for that, you get to know all the information about the Hishaku and everything. Um, During this, also, Mr. Samura says that he killed Chihiro, and then the paper boy, he's just like, what? No way. I wanted to fight him. He was my friend. I made a friend. I'm gonna kill you now. Uh, so then the whole deal is that Mr. Sumura is going to kill all the sword bearers, and then he's going to battle the Hishaku. So he's doing what Chihiro probably is basically doing, but in way more of like a I need to be done with these sword bearers. They were not good people at the end of the day. Um, uh at the end of it, it also says like one more week and it's all over. He said Chihiro doesn't need to become one of them, one of the people that I'm assuming just like it's the whole argument they had with the guy in the fight beforehand where it's just like I'm going to hell and I'm taking you all with me. I think Mr. Sumura is like he ain't got to deal with that. I don't want to make the kid deal with that. Um
It's
and then
almost. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. And then just like the last two pages, Chihiro's still alive. He's just in some sort of like hospital room or something like that. I'm assuming with the Kamunabi. Oh, one other thing, the Kamunabi have changed their tactics for defense. They're doing something else in order to defend the sword bearers and not let the swords contracts break.
Yeah.
But yeah, end of
Yeah.
chapter.
Boom. End of chapter. End of episode. It's done.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
See you guys next week.
See you
Just
next
kidding.
week. No. What did you think, Nick? Did you like this one?
This chapter, I'll be honest, I just don't like the Paperboy kid,
That's fair.
the one
Yeah.
that has the Kumayuri. Uh, I don't know, I don't like that sort of character, but everything else is kind of interesting, especially on a reread, because the first time that I read it, I'm just like, okay, Mr. Sumura is just like off the deep end. But to be fair, we don't know what the whole connection is between
Yeah.
the sword bearers and all this stuff that they've done, which I would like some clarification on. But I don't think that we're going to get that until Mr. Samura fights Chihiro. Um,
Yeah. It's almost like his motivation. I don't always want to go back to JJK, but it's like slightly reminding me. You know how Nanami's like, I will put the burden on me, so the younger kids can kind of like, I'm the adult, you're the kid, I'm gonna look after you,
mhm,
and I kind of like, it's made me realize that there is a lot of those kind of like like Nanami esque characters in a lot of series that kind of come up and are like, I'll take the burden on of being an adult, and you just focus on being a kid. Um, and I mean, everyone's probably like, as fans, we're like, oh, what's Shimura doing? He doesn't know what he's doing. Well, he thinks
yeah,
everyone thinks they know how to fix something. Um, and I
he's
don't,
going to try his own way.
yeah, it's not
Um,
the worst, honestly. It's
mhm.
I don't know,
I,
yeah.
what is,
Oh, sorry.
uh, no, you're good. What I'm thinking with this whole thing with Mr. Samura is that so far, we've just been seeing Chihiro follow his dad's words, and try to like get all the swords and everything like that. But Mr. Samura, I think, is supposed to show that that wasn't the right answer the first time because clearly, Chihiro's father died the first time doing that, like just keeping the swords away from the sword bearers and like keeping them onto himself. So I think that this is supposed to give Chihiro like another way to like realize like wait for like how much that I love my father and respect him. This wasn't the exact ways to handle the swords, and I'm gonna find another way to get
Mm-hmm.
out of it. And like Mr. Summers trying to show him that sort of side as well. I think it all really ties well together, as you said. Like he's in this position of like I don't want Chihiro to go through this sort of stuff. I'll handle all of it. Um, and my brain literally lost its train of thought midway through. He's trying to like be protective, but that's not the best solution at the end of the day. But I think it will give Chihiro a moment to be like, you know what? I need to do something different because I'm just gonna end up cut cut down the middle and presumed dead again. And if not, if Mr. Shiba's not there the next time, actually die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's perfectly how I describe it. Like I don't think Mr. Shimura actually killed like he's just saying I killed Chihiro. He meant to put him out of the fight, get him out of here, so he can we can get that kind of philosophical arc, like training arc. We need a little more. Chihiro needs to maybe mature up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I really like this because Chihiro finally got humbled. I want to see him next chapter
Yes.
actually like have this sort of conflict with himself, just like I wasn't good enough. What am I gonna do? And then find a solution from it. Which
I
we're like right on the precipice. It's
which
like it's almost there.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see some sort of that, like him realizing he needs to change. I really hope it's not like classic shonen where it's just like I need to be stronger. I need to be a better fighter. I think he needs to mentally change himself, mentally grow stronger, to kind of figure out how to beat Mr. Samura. But I'd love to see him interact with more people in the Kanamanabi to kind of maybe get that training arc as a perspective. Like he does get sword training, but also there's not a lot of people that can go blow for blow with an enchanted blade. So I'd love to see
Mhm.
that kind of like thing with the Kaminami's like, well, we can train him, but like it doesn't matter what we throw at him. It's not an enchanted blade. Like it won't be the same.
Yeah, besides
How
like the what is it, Dragon Bone?
Yeah, and we're like we don't want to risk hurting our two best fighters to train.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that sort of like, well, what do we do? So like maybe my thought was maybe let's get a little focus on Chihiro, but let's turn more of the focus to Mr. Shimura. Let's see kind of how he. I want to kind of see more of his plan instead of him just going, I'm going to kill all the sword bearers, and then I'll go kill all the bad guys. I want to see
yeah.
him talk more about it, kind of figure it out, and
Hmm.
maybe this where he's these people he hates and he's gonna kill. Maybe see him how he's forced to work with them.
Hmm.
And maybe the blonde haired paper person, I forget their name. We will learn it. We will
Hmm.
remember it
We will
eventually.
remember. We will
Um,
remember.
maybe that person is trying to be Mr. Samura's best buddy now. Just trying to get close enough so they can like fight him. Be like, yo, you killed your hero.
I'm
Let's
gonna
go
kill
blow for
you
blow. I'm gonna kill you. Let's fight. Come
now.
on,
Yeah.
pull up. Um,
Yeah.
pull up, gang. But no, I'd love to see more of Mr. Shimura's perspective while Chihiro's healing. Because I think also this is a perfect chance. I forget her name, the little girl. To bring her back. Because
Yeah,
she's
I think that she'll come back and just heal him.
yeah. Because that's my thing is like he can't just like sit there for like 6 months and like recover and go through physical therapy.
Yeah, especially if
So
it said like this will all be dealt with in 1 week. It's
yeah.
like what the hell?
So I'd love to see some sort of focus on Mr. Shimura, or even I think we're about 60 we're just under 60 chapters in. I think this is a perfect chance to do a little flashback, a little more backstory. I'd even love to see when Mr. Shimura made the contract with the I'm just gonna call them the Yakuza right now because I don't remember what they're called, but the bad guy gang,
Or the Hishaku.
Hishaku. Perfect. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, it would have
Um,
been good to see that. Um, I guess there's a lot. Um, is it okay if I spitball a theory right
go
here?
for it. Preach.
I th I think that what is it? After this, we're gonna get a lot more as well of the Kamunabi, especially from like the cover page that we had of like Chihiro, Hakuri, and I forgot the name of the girl with Dragon Bone. But like the strongest fighter from the
Yeah.
Kamunabi. Uh, it's definitely gonna like they're setting up like that shonen trio right there, and I think that this is a good time to have them like work together on that. And then also, this is an opportunity for Chihiro to get the other swords to the other sword bearers, and then like I could definitely see a moment of just like Mr. Samura's turned on us, and then they're just like, "Yeah, dude, he's probably like the strongest." It's next to the plant-based one, and maybe get some context on that because again, I think that he went rogue and he's trying to work with Hishaku.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which would also make, you know what, I'm connecting a lot of things now because like there's the tree sorcerer person. That would kind of make sense that they're trying to work with the person that's got the plant sword. But just we would get more
A
context
counter to
on,
each sword, kind of like a counter to each sword or each sorcerer, kind of
yeah,
deal.
and just
Yeah.
like
Okay.
maybe they taught like, hey, yo, I don't know how well you're gonna do against Mr. Samura, but let's show you how to use your enchanted blade to the fullest extent. So like a little training arc there, which will also be fun because he's given some sort of a deadline, i.e., akin to like Ichigo learning how to Bankai right before I forgot her name.
Ruki gets
Uh,
executed,
Yeah,
or is
right before
yeah.
execution. So like something that has that much pressure on it, um, so that he can get like this good old comeback, like, haha, I know how to use the sword now, even better.
And
Um,
it's something like that perspective we were talking about. Is like he needs a he needs a fresh perspective on how to look at how to get the swords back. I think also what you talked about is like each maybe visiting each enchanted blade wielder, he'll get a new perspective on how to use his sword, which will be really cool to see. Because I felt like I know Cloud Gouger when he used it, like the 3 or 5 charges he had with it before it was
yeah.
dead. He used it differently than Soji did, and or kind of differently. And I'd love to see how each you know personality of each enchanted blade user will complement their complement their blade or not. I think it'd be a very cool thematically thing if each enchanted blade user was like not the complete opposite, but was kind of at odds with the abilities of their blade. Like you see, I don't know, spitball in here. You see some big dude, and he's got like the blade that can like help heal and stuff. You expect him to have
Hmm.
like fire powers or something with his sword. Like it's different. It's a different perspective, and I think that'll help Chihiro is like being like, well, I'm looking at using the goldfish to spy like this. But what if someone's like, well, what if you used it this way? And he's like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And then
Hmm.
he can combine the way he uses it and the way the person's other perspective worked. Boom, making him a more full character. I'll
Hmm.
take a check in the mail.
Thank you, Shonen Jump. Thank you, Shueisha.
Thank you, Soesha. But yeah.
Yeah. This chapter basically it gave us a lot of ideas and possibilities on where we can go just because it's setting the stage for like the rest of this arc of like, hey, this is where we're at. Um, and I think it was also a really good way to end the previous arc. Um, at least that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna treat that one of like sword bearer retrieval arc
Mm-hmm.
as its own thing, and then this one is like the Samura arc.
It's like the
Um,
sword bearer arc was more like we thought that was its own arc, but it's more of a setup arc.
yeah, And what is it? What I'm trying to say is that I would treat it separately from like what this chapter is. Like this chapter is the setup for, like
Mm,
trying to resolve a. I don't know. We don't have a good name for it yet because we haven't gone too far into the um. Can't think. We haven't gone too it's too far into the beginning of this arc. Is the best
yeah.
way to put it.
So just call it
Like
like the
instead of this
Shimura
feeling like
arc
the
or something.
middle, it's like the beginning to something greater. And so then my brain is like, oh, we got a lot more possibilities on what could happen here.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting because I feel like for JJK for a while when we were covering it, we were just in the middle of the end of the series for so long, and it's honestly a nice bit of it's like fresh air, like breathing fresh air. We get to experience like the beginning of a new arc in a series. You know, I've been reading since it roughly since it came out, like since like chapter 20 something, I think. But it's nice
Yeah.
to
Still within a year.
yeah, it's nice to be reading a series where we don't know what's gonna happen next. I mean, we didn't know for sure with Jujutsu Kaisen, but like we've been reading Jujutsu Kaisen since
Yeah.
2021, so for
Like
almost 5 years. So we had a I see like most fans of JJK have a pretty good grasp of what was going to happen in the series ago, but now I feel like Kagurabachi fans we don't have that right now, and it's kind of nice to kind of be like, well, I've got like 5 theories. I don't care if any of them are right, but like whatever happens next is gonna be badass.
yeah. And also with Jujutsu Kaisen, there was definitely like where we were at with the manga, it was like because we started around like the Maki chapter. Time to tie everything back into Jujutsu Kaisen. That's what we're talking about again. Um, but where we were there, just like, all right, what happens now? We got a few more theories, and it's like, damn, we're at the end of this series. Well, this one definitely is like a like it's still got like a long time to cook. That being said, I feel like it's going to be a lot shorter than uh what is it? This like Kagurabachi already feels shorter than like Jujutsu Kaisen in terms of pace. Like it's really trying to get up there really quickly, but it still has some time to just like slow down um and be like a decent 200 chapter manga.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'm just like, damn, I feel like the series could end in a month and it'd have like a semi-decent conclusion. So it's like throwing me off is the best way to put it.
Yeah, and it's just kind of nice to have like a series like. Nah, I love not knowing what's gonna happen. Like it's part of me where like I have to know what happens next. I have to look ahead, but I'm like like I'm starting to love this. I'm like, dude, I don't know about you. I didn't see Mr. Shimura, quote unquote, betraying everyone coming. I was like, dude, this dude is gonna like mentor Chihiro. He's gonna show him the ropes. They're gonna learn and they're gonna work together and they're gonna beat him with the power of friendship. And I'm like, damn,
Yeah,
what gonna happen, dude? What gonna happen?
yeah. It was a good way to throw a wrench into it and for for me to sit there and be like, this was stupid, and then I'm just like, okay, I can kind of see where it's going. I need to give it like another chapter to breathe.
Exactly. So it's kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I've been liking this series. It's got it's just it's like what we always talk about is like um every author's new series is just their interpretation of a shonen, and it's really cool to see how the um term shonen has evolved because you know
Mhm.
Jujutsu Kaisen came out in 2018 was when
Yes,
the
sir.
first official chapter, not the volume 0 chapter, came out.
Mhm.
And it's really cool to see how you know, and I mean that is it's gonna be 5 years since, or not 5, 7 years since Jujutsu Kaisen came out. It's really cool to see in that amount of time how much the term shonen has evolved, and how it's changed. And I mean, we get to see like not transitionally, like, but you know, in that time, year to year, how much it even changes. Because you know, in that time we saw like oh my am I drawing a blank? Sakamoto Days. There's probably a few other shonen series that came out in the time that are like very stereotypical, quote unquote stereotypical shonen esque. But it's
I
very
mean,
interest. It's very interesting to see.
yeah, it's interesting to see what sticks because like um this is like a whole other thing as well that we can get into, but like um uh every author has like an interpretation of shonen, but it always needs to be slightly different from a very cookie cutter shonen, or it just doesn't do well in the manga. Um, there was one made by the creator of Hell's Paradise, I forgot. Um, it was something that was put into Weekly Shonen Jump, which was very stereotypical and had a really fun premise at the beginning, but it just kind of lost traction after a while, because it was very cookie cutter to the
It's
point that
one of those
everyone's
things
like,
where like
I know what's going on.
the
I don't
premise
care.
feels nice for a few chapters and then it kind of wears off and you're like, okay. Like you said,
Yeah,
you're gonna know what's gonna happen immediately next, which isn't a bad thing.
yeah.
But it's not what we've grown used to as a series.
It's not what keeps people engaged in reading continuously, unfortunately. Even if they can be like a really good series. Um, but we know that it has to change at least somewhat in order to in order to grasp a reader and keep them engaged week to week.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's also fun to see because like this is. I know Kagurabachi did start when My Hero and Jujutsu Kaisen was still going on, but like this to me feels like the first like wave of like new gen manga coming out. Like we
yeah,
like it's I know it picked up steam immediately after it came out, but it feels like I don't know if it's just because we've been covering it now, but it feels like it's recently like over the summer. Because I started reading it big when I was in Japan. Like that's like I was
mhm,
like I downloaded all of it. I would read it on the train when we were going places, and um, and then I don't know if it's just because I was reading it, but I noticed there was stuff in Japan. Like there was some a little bit of merch, a little bit of advertising in Tokyo and stuff. But it's really cool to see. This is like I don't want to. I think I was gonna use the word fallout, but I think it gives a bad connotation. I don't know if it does, but in my head it does. It's cool to see what's coming out of the fallout of two heavy hitters of Shonen Jump ending.
yeah,
Um, and it's really cool to see like what's gonna come out of this because you know, um, I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen was the first like Shonen Jump manga. I was like, ooh, this is like it's got a bunch of blood. Not the first, but like it like ooh, it's blood's okay in a show in a cookie cutter, not cookie cutter, but in a Shonen Jump series, we can have blood. This ain't a seinen. Like what? So it kind of I feel like it's taking aspects of series that have just ended, but it's doing its own thing with them, and it's that you know that translation of what is shonen to you is kind of nice to see.
mhm. I definitely with this series, I'm interested to see where it goes because this is the quote unquote, because of course One Piece will never die. This is like the next like heavy hitter for for the magazine. Um, because like I understand there's Sakamoto Days, which is very good. I haven't caught up with it. Um, but like it doesn't have the same sort of staying power as Kagurabachi does. As to the fact that I forgot when Sakamoto Days started. I think it was either 2020 or 2021, and we're now just getting an anime adaptation for it compared to some other series that started even later than it, and it is already got a confirmed series, like
Mm-hmm.
example, Blue Box, which is a
I th-
romance.
which I think Blue Box started 21 as well.
Yeah, but it started after Sakamoto
Yeah,
Days. I remember that distinctively. So it's just like,
Kaiju number
uh,
8 is another one that got an anime adaptation. Like I felt very early.
yeah,
Um,
that one I think actually surprisingly came out before Sakamoto Days, but it still feels very quick. And it's also because it was like from Shonen Jump Plus, which is its whole other thing. Um, but what I'm trying to say is that this is the next big boy after Jujutsu Kaisen, in my personal opinion.
this is our next
So I'm
poster boy.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see what where it's gonna go and how that pressure will hopefully make diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Will make a really good series. It could also completely blow up and then get bad at a certain point, but it's interesting to see that something that is this recent is kind of the poster boy now instead of um again Jujutsu Kaisen or um My Hero now because My Hero was the front of the magazine for so long. One Piece was the front of the magazine up until like the 2020. And then we kind of saw it like mix around. So it's cool that something this short is kind of keeping people's attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
We'll,
I enjoy it.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's very exciting to see this kind of like it's a power vacuum in Shonen Jump, right? In Shueisha magazine. Um,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be very cool to see what sticks, because it's not even just, I don't even think it's not what makes money, it's what the fan, I think manga studios and even anime studios are realizing it's like, okay, let's just not make it because it's gonna make money, but like what are the fans gonna like, because that's what's gonna make money.
Mm.
um and like you said, it's like, this pressure, what diamonds are going to be created out of this, like, in a month we could be like, well, dude, we were wrong, Kagurabachi got axed, sorry we
Yeah.
were wrong, here's this new series,
That'd be
here's the new
hilarious.
JJK, which I would
Yeah.
I would be so, it could be funny, I'd be very sad because I do enjoy Kagurabachi a lot, but who knows.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Uh, this will be very interesting. Let's see how this next arc plays out. I think it's gonna be good.
Exactly.
I I don't know what else to say. That's
I'm
what
here
I got
for it,
now.
we're all here for it.
Yeah,
I think
we're here for it. Let's.
it's nice having these conversations not just be about the manga we're talking about, to be about um, the manga industry, mangaka's lives and stuff. Because it's great. I mean, I don't know about you. When we talked about JJK every week and it was only about JJK, it did feel like we got a little burnt out at points. So it's nice
Mhm.
to have these other conversations about the manga industry, because we could be completely wrong, and like you said, there could be like something like One Piece apparently becomes the next poster boy again for some reason.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be
I wouldn't
surprised.
be surprised, and
Unfortunately,
Oda will have to count his fucking days if that happens.
I'm
Let
sure that
something
he
new
already is.
actually,
He's,
actually let something. No, just kidding. I know we got a lot of One Piece fan friends that listen, and fans out there that listen to it. Don't dox me because I said that. Um, don't clip that. It'll be taken out of context.
no, he is the One Piece. He is the One Piece. Reveal so that Luffy can go kill him.
Yeah. The ending of
Um,
the ending of One Piece is them going after our series, our show, slowly hunting down all three of us.
that'd be such a joke. That'd be horrible.
It'd be so bad.
So
But I'd love it.
the I just imagine the manga like it's just like it's like a big page turnover. Like this is the One Piece, and then it's just like addresses, IP addresses, everything like that.
3 IP
Like
addresses. Everyone's like,
Google
"Who are
Map
these guys?"
locations. It's a link to follow.
Yeah.
They're just like, what? And then war happens. Um, but yeah. Anyways, this is how we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting chapter 60. I'm excited to see what Chihiro does once he wakes up and he realizes that he needs to train a little bit more and be a little bit smarter.
He just grow the fuck up. No, just kidding.
Exactly.
Um.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to episode 58, or not 50, 85 of the Jumpcast. Sorry, I'm dyslexic.
You flipped it
Excuse me.
around in like a fun way. I didn't think you'd get it like that, but
But yeah. So thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week. And Max will be back soon. And yeah, I don't know what else
have a
to
good
say.
week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.